Hey guys, welcome back to Traveling with Hannah Roxy. This video, I'll be taking you guys all over Italy and showing you all of the things I did and saw. So let's get into it. First stop was, of course, Rome. I stayed in 2 Airbnbs while I was in Rome. One of them had this beautiful balcony with a view of the street and a small but beautiful church. The other Airbnb I stayed in had these creative looking windows with a view of Rome's beautiful architecture. Rome is one of the most history-rich parts of Italy, so my first stop was the Colosseum, and wow, this thing was huge. I bought tickets to see the inside of the Colosseum, and it was just so amazing to see a building that started construction around 72 AD and was completed in 80 AD. I mean, that's old. It was crazy to think about how many people and animals lost their lives here, but hey, that's our tragic history. Right next to the Colosseum is Palatine Hill, which is home to the Roman Forum. The Roman Forum is where they had all of their government buildings, and some of the buildings are actually still standing for the most part. This is where they had public speeches, criminal trials, and handled all of the city affairs. Basically, big decisions were made here. Once you get to the very top of the hill, you get to see a full view of the entire city of Rome. One thing I should mention is, you actually do not need to purchase any water while you're in Rome. All across Rome, they have fountains spewing water, which comes directly from their mountains. After walking around Rome a few days, I noticed locals filling up water bottles at these ancient looking fountains. So I looked it up, and turns out the water is completely safe to drink and free of any chemicals. Of course, if you think that's sketchy, then just, well, don't drink it. The choice is yours, of course. Now, let's go to Vatican City. This is where the Pope lives. Although I didn't get to see him, which is like, what would I even do if I did see him? You have to purchase tickets to see him. I got to see the Sistine Chapel and their museum. Now, when I went, this is the only place in Italy that strictly enforced the mask mandate. They were really serious about this, but I went in May of 2022, so maybe they've let up since then? I'm not sure. Inside the museum is a bunch of gorgeous artwork, and the ceilings are so intricate. Just about every room had a marvelous ceiling that I enjoyed staring at with my mouth open. You just don't see stuff like that here, you know? Then I took stairs all the way down to the Sistine Chapel. So, ladies and fellas, you cannot enter the chapel with those sexy shoulders out. They will not allow it. Also, no shorts, no knees should be showing. This is a holy place, you know? Also, no recording, no photos allowed at all. They're very strict about this. Okay, so now let's talk about their food. Of course, pasta, pizza, and pizza, right? But their pasta tastes a lot different than our pasta we have here in America. I guess I found it to be somewhat bland, but maybe that's because their food is way healthier than ours and less processed. I found their portions to be extremely small, but 10 times more filling than our pasta here in America. Overall, I got pastaed out after a few days and ended up eating a lot of Oriental food because I just needed something different. Their pizza is definitely way better than ours though. So yummy, and I don't feel bloated or sick after having a whole pizza to myself. Their desserts are so good, and I found their sweets to be much more rich in taste and less sugary in comparison to ours. I eat gelato almost every day there, which is a must. So one day I decided to get a car rental and drive all the way to Pompeii. Driving in Rome was pretty much the same as driving in Los Angeles, but with a lot of areas with no lanes at all. I was really out there looking for lanes that were never even painted on the ground. But the freeways are super clean and really easy to drive. So, for those of you who don't know about Pompeii, it was a thriving city that was near Mount Vesuvius. Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD and buried the entire city in volcanic ash. I took a tour of Pompeii, and the tour guide showed me the cast of a pregnant lady who was smothered to death in this volcanic ash. It's a very tragic story, but it was intriguing to see how they lived. Just about an hour from Pompeii is the Amalfi Coast. Definitely worth the trip if you have the time and just want to see the beautiful coast. Next, it was time to go to Venice, but on my way there, I made a stop in Pisa to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. While they were building this in the 12th century, the tower began sinking into the soft ground on one side. It's a nearly 4-degree lean for reference. It's funny how mistakes can become a tourist attraction. After Pisa, I made it to my last stop in Italy, which was Venice, or Venezia, as they say there. Venice was founded in 421 AD and it's actually a combination of 118 islands. These islands are separated by the canals and linked by bridges. All of their bridges have stairs, which made it super annoying when trying to roll my luggage around. Not recommended. But Venice is a pretty chill place. It's romantic and calm. There's not as much to do in Venice as there was in Rome, but it's a nice place to just relax and unwind after spending a week or even 2 weeks in busy Rome. If you like spicy food, I had the best sandwich of my life at this place called Accademia Foscarini, I hope I pronounced that right, which was right next to the hotel I stayed in called Hotel Galleria. My hotel room had such a beautiful view of the Grand Canal and the Accademia Bridge, which was built in the 1930s. To me, all of Venice was walkable, so there's really no need to pay for a water taxi, as they call it. But if you really can't walk it, you can always take the city's water bus, which was dirt cheap. I took the water bus to 2 other islands called Murano and Burano. Murano is known for its long tradition of glassmaking. There are approximately 100 glassmaking factories on this island. Here I got to see a glassmaking demonstration and browse the shops. Burano is known for its very colorful buildings and is said to be one of the prettiest towns in Italy, and I actually gotta agree with that one. It was beautiful. And that's my take on Italia. After visiting Italy, I gotta say my Italian accent hasn't improved one bit, but my knowledge of Italy and the history of it has, so at least there's that. I hope you guys enjoy this video and maybe even learn something. Blow that comment section up and I'll see you guys on my next trip.
Just got back from Italy. Don't give a fuck if y'all sick of me, y'all can't get rid of me. They making a mini me, that ain't gonna work, are y'all kidding me? Shit, I got some blood in my mouth, but y'all did not finish me. I'm here to stay.